3 men have entered the TV tuner's house in Denver, Colorado, and only one will remain. The others will be sent to the Denver catacombs. The Decider presides over the scene, sitting atop his throne. Only the one with the best television take of the day will survive. Let's begin. Toto.
Hi there, folks, and welcome to TV Tuners. It's a television podcast for the true fanatics. It's a weekly dive in the latest in TV news and reviews. I'm your host, Swanson. With me, as always, is my co-host and cool gay roommate who's definitely doing cool things in this episode.
I'm so tired of you, Swanson. Please get out of my house and get out of my bed.
That's Stairmaster. Yeah.
Do you think they explored each other's bodies, right? I mean, they're sharing a bed together.
No, I don't think Wallace is interested in Scott in that way. In fact, he seems to be sort of beleaguered to be Scott's friend.
But they're sharing a bed together, and I mean, that sort of expastoration could only come from knowing him very well. Sort of like an inverse of enemies to lovers.
I think friends are capable of sharing a bed together and not having anything happen. And with us, as always, of course, our other co-host and leader of the League of Evil Exes, Kiorain.
Yes, this is a very well-defined organization that makes perfect sense and is very humorous.
You got a problem with Scott Pilgrim lore, Keo? You got a problem with the comic book where a lady can do deliveries by going through people's minds at night? Huh?
That was a literal thing that happened.
Yeah.
She was being literal with it.
Yeah,
she was not joking.
That's why she's in his dreams, Keo.
Yeah.
Because she's literally skating through his brain at night.
And not just because she's some sort of manic pixie dream girl.
She is not manic at all, I would.
No, but she is the other two things. Literally, actually. At least with the dream.
And with the girl.
Yeah, she's a literal dream girl.
Yeah, this is my first exposure to the Scott Pilgrim experience, and yeah, it makes perfect sense, guys.
Yeah, I will say it goes in a mildly different direction, and I do mean mild. Anyway, welcome to the show. Another exciting edition. We're back. We're talking about a show based off of a movie from 13 years ago, based off of a property that was popular 13 years ago.
Before the movie?
No, about the same time. I think that was the zenith for both of them. Zenith. Anyway, we'll get to all of that and all of the wild things that were just okay to be put on screen and in print.
I thought they were Scott Pilgrim's evil exes, not Ramona Flowers' evil exes. This is insane.
No. He's got to beat up Ramona Flowers' evil exes in order to win her over, except not really, because that's stupid.
No, yes. Scott Pilgrim is straight with it.
What? What do you mean he's straight?
As the kids say, he's hetero-pilled.
Oh, I don't know why you're latching on to homosexuality all of a sudden. All Keo said was his evil exes.
Well, because they're all men.
Oh,
other than one.
Except for one.
Okay. Theory of mind fail. compilation, youtube.com.
And I remember, we'll get into it. Anyway, that's not what we're here to discuss at the top of the show. As everyone knows, fans of the pod, we don't talk about the show until much later.
Why?
It's how it is.
And we never talk about
the
Legend
show.
of the Galactic Heroes.
No, I forgot.
What's that? What's Legend of the Galactic Heroes?
I can't
We've
say.
never talked about it so much that Keo doesn't remember what it is.
Keo remembered.
Can you tell me?
Swanson yells at Keo every time he recalls the basic facts.
Can you give me a quick synopsis of Legend of the Galactic Heroes and then briefly talk about the first 3 episodes of
I
it?
could try, but Swanson would start screaming at me.
Well, as long as it doesn't hit you, I think it'll be fine,
He
right?
will hit me. Who are we
My
kidding?
fist ready.
I mean, he won't use a weapon. He'll just...
Yeah,
like,
because
you
this
know.
house is empty.
I'm grabbing my trusty bat.
Well, Swanson's got his pet bat now.
He's gonna sick
Yeah,
him
that's
on
right.
me. Luckily, I got my rabies shot. I was really hoping that Swanson was gonna use the bats to like fight crime. Maybe.
As some sort of
don't-
Batman.
Does Batman ever actually utilize a bat at any point to help him?
Like once in a
Fight crime.
once in a while if it's really dramatic.
Yeah, I mean, in Batman Begins, doesn't he utilize some bats to get the jump on some of Scarecrow's men?
I don't remember. That movie was 8 years ago.
Only 8?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
If you
Time is sort of a flat circle.
if you don't think I'm right, there's a way to tell me.
How would we tell you there? If, let's say, we had a quip, a comment, a question, foresight, otherwise?
Good question. You can contact us on our email at tvtunerspodcast@gmail.com.
Oh. What's that email address, Kiorain?
I think it was tvtunerspodcast@gmail.com.
That's right. Your email could go here. Anyway,
Dear TV Tuners Trio, why won't you watch Legend of the Galactic Heroes? Signed,
Hey, wait a minute.
Danny.
Let me take this mustache off. That's just stare.
Dear woke TV Tuners podcast moralists. Why haven't you watched Legend of the Galactic Heroes?
Young men should look to the friendship between Reinhard Longrim and Kyrgyz.
I was funny moment where Jordan Peterson randomly showed up in my internet goings. I was looking up an old wrestling documentary called Wrestling with Shadows, which was about Bret Hart and the Montreal Screwjob, which is when Bret Hart got screwed over by Vince McMahon, for those who don't know.
Is that going to be in the movie?
And it's a great documentary, one considered a classic. And in the Wikipedia article for it, it says that Jordan Peterson describes it as one of the greatest documentaries ever made.
Oh yeah, they're making a movie about the Hart family, aren't they?
The Von Erich family, much more tragic.
Oh.
Literally a group of 5 brothers who 4 of them were deceased.
Oh. So a Saving Private Ryan situation.
Or I think it's 4 and 3 of them are deceased, but yes. All because their father pushed all of them to go in the ring. The clip I've seen of the movie, I haven't seen the trailer, but the clip I've seen of the movie is all of them around the table and the dad saying, like, listing out his favorite son.
Yes, that was in the trailer.
Like it's a Watch Mojo video.
Top 10 sons. Number 1.
You don't say number 1 first, you say it last.
Maybe number 1's the bottom.
Anyway, they all end up dying. I think 2 of them from suicide. So it's a depressing watch, I'm assuming. But I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna watch it. It's gonna be a good current AEW World Champion MJF is in the movie. So, but anyway, that was my Jordan Peterson story, which is that he showed up in the Wikipedia for the Bret Hart documentary.
Which is very relevant. Like, I really care about what he thinks.
Like, I don't know why he is listed as someone who, like, why would I give a shit what he thinks is the greatest documentary of all time?
The Wikipedia editors care. And they're the ones who decide what reality is.
Yeah, true. Anyway. That's not all I have for you guys. Of course, I have a thing I ask every week. Because I always want to know. And so do the fans.
Yeah.
What are you guys watching? Yeah. Anything you want to talk about? Exciting?
Oh,
new?
I watched the trailer for The Iron Claw starring Zac Efron about the Von Erich family when I went to go see Godzilla -1 last weekend.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. He's back, baby, and he's cranky.
Yeah, I've heard many a good thing about this movie. It's wild that they would play the trailer for that.
I don't know.
The Godzilla movie.
I don't know what the demographic they were trying to get was.
The crossover, yeah, I'm not quite sure either. But it slapped?
Yeah, it slapped. He slapped a bunch of buildings with his tail.
Oh. He's been known to do that.
He wrestled a battleship. And then he got knocked underwater and he blasted it in half. Everyone's like, oh! You'll love to see it.
This is epic.
Yeah, that's what I said. That's what my dad did when he started rampaging in the city. He elbowed me in the arm and gave me a thumbs up. He really wanted me to know that he was pogging out.
Nice. He was... Okay.
He was pog champing in the theaters.
So, good movie all around.
Yeah.
Okay, definite tune in.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, anything else?
No, not really. Oh, I watched Silent Night. I watched Violent Night.
Oh, okay.
The Santa Claus Die Hard movie that came out last year. That starred
this is
John Leguizamo as the bad guy.
And also isn't Santa what's his name from?
Yeah, he's Hopper. Yeah, it's Hopper.
Yeah, Hopper.
Yeah, he's like an edgy Santa. Like,
this Santa. This ain't your mama's Santa.
Except he's like burnt out Santa at the beginning. He's burnt out alcoholic Santa at the beginning, and he's like, "Oh no, don't make me go back to the old me." And then he starts stabbing people, Santa.
So it's like John Wick, but it's Santa Claus.
It's like if John Wick was bad.
Okay, yeah.
There's a sequence that's literally just Home Alone, but with real-world consequences that was deeply upsetting to me.
Okay.
Because those traps are just like, oh, this is more like Saw now. When you see what really happens.
So the burglars just horribly die?
Yeah. A lady gets like stuck to the glue floor and has to pull herself off, and some of her hair gets stuck and rips her skin off the back of her head.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then
That's some like Nightmare on Elm Street.
Well, it's
shit.
not like you can see her skull, but it's like it's like a layer or so. It's gross.
It sounds bad.
Yeah, it's like, why are you torturing this woman? And then Santa Claus shows up and beats her to death with a hammer because she pointed a gun at a kid.
Yeah, it seems worthy of death.
But I mean, like, that kid was trying to murder them with bowling balls.
I'm just saying I don't think Santa should be murdering anybody.
Yeah, I know, especially not women. Especially not when the woman is, like, paralyzed and slowly reaching for the gun, and then it's implied that he crushes her skull.
So that's a tune out.
That's a tune out.
Anything else?
Oh yeah, there's no Christmas redemption for any of the bad guys. It's death. Nothing but death.
Just death, yeah. Well, there's no ghosts to visit them, so...
No.
That's the only way you can redeem yourself on Christmas.
Yeah, no. Well, I watched The Firm with Tom Cruise.
It was a firm
Tune in. Well,
time.
people don't
Firm tune in.
People do not really seem keen on that movie. I saw a lot of 3 stars. I liked it. I gobble that shit up. The 90s legal thrillers with the star-studded cast. You got Tom Cruise. You got Gene Hackman. You got Wilford Brimley as the firm's sort of enforcer, investigator man. You got Dean Norris as guy who gets shot in the leg by Gary Busey and then gets kicked in the leg by Tom Cruise at the end. You got a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, and Tom Cruise runs faster than I think anyone ever has in this movie. It's incredible. I think this camera's blurring trying to keep up with him.
Yeah, he's a runner. We all know that.
And also he does a bunch of backflips at the start. What more could you ask for?
Let's see. I watched the Coen Brothers version of True Grit. Yeah, it's good. That's a good one.
I heard it was good. That's all I have to say. Bye.
It's it's the only time, I think, in the Coen Brothers' whole deal where they do just a straight one genre movie. They usually mix and match different sort of elements. This is just a straight up, they're like, what if we just did a really good Western?
What about No Country for Old Men?
I mean, that's like a neo-Western with noir and horror elements. Oh, yeah, it's also a thriller.
Okay. I think that Westerns can be noir without... I feel like... I mean... there's a lot of crossover.
Western can be a noir.
I mean, there's a lot of crossover between those two genres.
Yeah, but most straight Westerns aren't noirs, you know what I mean? Like True Grit, no one is... Yeah. You don't watch a movie like True Grit and you're like, oh yeah, that's a noir.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Then that's what I mean. They're just straight up just making a Western movie. It's good. Matt Damon's funny in it. Jeff Bridges is amazing. John Wayne was the guy in the original movie, and he was fine.
Allegedly.
But in this one, Jeff Bridges is what if the dude were a cowboy? It's pretty great. It's a good movie with a surprisingly emotional ending.
You love it when the movie makes you feel feelings.
We love to feel feelings, folks. Tune in.
I don't like to feel bad feelings. I like to feel good feelings. I like movies that have only highs, no lows.
When you're here, even the pain feels good. I can't remember, and I saw her do the Nicole Kidman speech last week. My brain,
the movie
speech. Well, even when you're here, tears feel good somehow, or heartbreak feels good. Heartbreak feels good.
Heartbreak feels good in a place like this, I think is what she says, which sounds like Journey lyrics.
Maybe she should have been a lyric. Maybe she's wasting her time with movies.
Yeah. New career. I also watched a movie from this year.
Oh?
M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin.
Not to be confused with Cabin in the Woods.
No, this is a better movie,
I
think. I don't know. I feel like... I don't know if... I haven't rewatched Cabin in the Woods since it came out, because I watched it in theaters. No. And I liked it then, but also I feel like the Whedon effects of that would be too much for me.
I feel like that's probably his least...
The Whedonification of it.
That's probably one of his more innocuous works.
Yeah. Anyway, this was a good time. Basically, a happy couple is hanging out in a cabin, and 4 strangers come up and very politely break into the house and tie them up and inform them that they have to choose between one of the 3 of them, because their young daughter is also with them. Have to choose to sacrifice one of the 3 of them, or the apocalypse will occur. And it essentially becomes like a locked room sort of conversation between all of them while some people are getting killed, of course, but it eventually becomes like are they delusional or are they being honest? And we get a real answer. I'll tell you that. But it's good.
The answer,
Dave Bautista
sort of.
plays like the main big guy, and he's really great. He's amazing. Like, he's been waiting for a role like this. He holds the whole movie together.
How big is he?
Huge.
Okay, like Jack Reacher, but
To the point where M. Night Shyamalan makes like a point near the end where he's locked in a bathroom and the window breaks and the guys are like, maybe he crawled out of the window. And they open the door and it's a comically small window. and so you're like, oh, there's no way that dude crawled out of that window. And so everyone knows that he's still in the bathroom. He's just waiting to attack them.
Does he attack them?
He does, in fact, get the drop.
That's crazy. So that's a tune in because he attacks them?
Yeah, just for that one scene. It's a good movie. It's an interesting end. I'm not quite sure. There's not really a twist in the way that most M. Night Shyamalan movies have a twist. I think it's fun. Probably better than that old movie that we made fun of last year.
You mean old?
Yeah, the
Old
beach
beach.
that makes you old. Old beach.
Old beach deodorant. No, don't laugh at that.
No, I'm just picturing some.
Don't laugh at that. It's not that funny. You're demeaning both of us.
Anyway, it's a tune-in. It goes to some pretty depressing places. It's great.
No, that's not great. I like movies to have feel-good attitude.
What if I told you it was a psychological horror, and so you're planning on it going to some bad places?
Why don't you watch some movies that make you feel good so you can talk about them on the pod?
Oh.
No. I'm too sad to watch movies.
Like Legend of the Galactic. Okay.
Well, that's why you watch ones that make you feel good, so that you're like, whoa, that made me feel good. I want to watch more of that.
Yeah, I want to watch a movie that has no conflict.
I mean, they're out there. Are they good?
Well,
That's the
find
real
me one.
question. Anyway, that's it for me, and that's it for this segment. So let's get to the news, huh? We got a lot of it. And it's all equally important, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Let's start by
Let's
talking
make it-
about... Oh, you're going to care when we start talking about The Boys!
The lads.
The boys?
The guys.
The lads.
What about the boys?
The guys. The men. Well, The Boys is getting a new spin-off to go along with Gen V and whatever that animated one that I never watched was. It's set in Mexico, and it'll be aptly titled The Boys, Mexico.
What? Can you explain this in more
is a
detail?
show that takes place in Mexico.
It's currently being produced by, The Boys and Prime Video. And Diego Luna is going to be a part of it, a.k.a. Andor, from our friend of the pod, Cassian Andor. And I am assuming it's going to... Let me look at this title one more time. I think it's going to take place in Mexico.
He's gonna be playing Homelander, but he's gonna be like tinted slightly orange.
So this is not going to be like Breaking Bad's Metastasis show that came out?
No, this is just a spin-off that takes place in Mexico, and I'm assuming that VOD is doing something awful in Mexico.
Well, yeah.
It would be really funny if they did like the opposite of Breaking Bad, where every time they're in the U.S., the tint is yellow.
They could just do whatever they want in Mexico.
No rules.
They really want to keep the money train going, huh?
Yeah, they're gonna bleed this thing till it dies.
Who could have foreseen this?
I'm not sure. Listen, I didn't read all the boys, the comic, much at all. In fact, it was kind of off-putting. The show
deeply upsetting.
I heard it was just kind of bad.
Yeah, a lot of it seems to just be pretty bad.
Not great.
But I don't recall anything about like Mexican superheroes coming up in anything that I've read about it. Like, because Gen V was like based off of something that was actually in the comics.
It was,
and then expanded. So I don't know what this could even be.
It's fan fiction.
Interesting. Anyway,
Who wrote it?
I'll probably slop it up.
With how different the Boys TV show is from the comic, you could call that fan fiction too.
They should have Homelander fight Jack Reacher. That would get asses in the seat.
Wouldn't Jack Reacher lose?
Have you seen how big Jack Reacher is?
Yeah, wouldn't Jack Reacher just win because he's big?
He's also intelligent.
How can you figure out? How can you smart your way out
He
of
would use physics against Homelander and just throw him against the ground really hard.
You ever see one of those? You ever see one of those people who's like, Homelander could totally beat Superman? Like, I don't think that's even a close contest.
I feel like they kind of nerfed
Homelander gets so he would rage quit.
I think they kind of nerfed Homelander in season 3. Like season 2, he's not really physically stressed at any point. Like, the closest you get is him being telekinetically driven into the ground, and he's not even fazed by that. Just takes up its time.
I think Homelander just doesn't have the experience of taking on multiple superpowered people at once, so he has no idea what the fuck to do. Well,
yeah, but what's her name gets good hits on him at the end of season 3, but in the comic book, she dies off screen after 5 seconds of fighting him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I feel like comic book Homelander is a whole different
situation.
Comic
book Homelander, they had baby Homelander, sleep on top of a nuclear bomb. They put the crib over a nuclear bomb, just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah, have they scaled Homelander's durability to tons of TNT yet?
I hope so.
I'm sure someone has.
That's why we have the email.
Anyway, we know that Omni-Man would easily crush Homelander
for sure.
and Superman, right?
Oh, no. Superman. There's too many versions of Superman that are bullshit.
That's true. I feel like Omni-Man would probably still get beaten up by Superman. But yeah, it wouldn't even be a question. Homelander would try to fight Omni-Man and would just immediately get
spanked.
Yeah, the Death Battle guys already covered this, and they agree, Swanson, that Omni-Man would win. And they have a lab guy on there. They do science, and they have how many tons of TNT they can do.
Imagine you go on a date and you find out that your date is the lab guy from Death Battles.
Oh man, that's good. Ooh. Yeah, I really need to get him into my bed.
Tell me again, who's gonna win in the fight, SpongeBob or Homelander?
SpongeBob, because
you see SpongeBob's durability.
Well, SpongeBob's got toon physics on his side, Swanson.
Well, also SpongeBob seems to be able to move his organs around his body.
He'd be like, SpongeBob would lose, but let's talk about what would happen if a billion SpongeBobs fought him.
Could Homelander beat Baki's dad? I don't think so.
How insane is Baki's dad?
Well, one time he stopped an earthquake by punching the ground.
That's a lot of tons of TNT, just so you know.
Yeah. The Boys, Mexico, coming soon-ish.
And the United States has to renew its treaty with Baki's dad every time a new president gets elected. You don't see that for Homelander. So clearly they're not as afraid of Homelander.
It's true.
Isn't there a whole storyline about Homelander just kind of waltzing in and taking over the government in the comics or something?
He doesn't really waltz in so much as the government gets dismantled by him.
Yeah, well, they have the budget to do that. We'll see.
I mean, I don't know. They seem to be maybe hinting in that direction with how the end of the last season went. They have that politician lady still there.
Are they just going to have him run for president or something instead?
That's only if Trump wins again.
They're waiting on that to see how they're going to run this.
Yeah. So, in more depressing news, streaming services have been thinking for a hot minute how they're going to make more money now that they have to pay people more. And
they've come to the conclusion they should establish a cartel.
In a way.
I mean, yes, that is the original definition of cartel.
Because Netflix and Apple TV Plus have decided to team together for something that we all love. That immediately the word of it invokes positive thoughts. A bundle.
Time is a flat circle.
I like to get bundled up in bed, snuggly.
Well, what if you got bundled up and nice and snug with your favorite streaming services together?
Netflix and Apple TV. You can watch Hijack and Cyberpunk Edge Runner.
That's right.
So, like, the solution to having too many streaming services was to have them just be
bundled.
Team up guys.
That's right.
And consolidate, but not really.
Was to reinvent
for only $10 a month on a Verizon plan, you can get Netflix, Apple TV Plus, and Max, all on ad-supported tiers.
This is just cable programming again.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I guess, technically cheaper than cable programming, but also you're paying for you're getting ad-supported.
This is like Godzilla -1, except it's streaming -1.
Streaming -1, yeah.
After COVID,
anyway,
streamers had lost everything.
And now...
Really, what is the vision here? What's going on with the streaming
They're trying
wars?
to get the profit.
They want to be able to say, oh, look at all of these profits we've got from these different markets.
Ezekiel, over time, the rates of profitability have a tendency to fall. Because it's only so much exploitation you can do. You can, like, squeeze out of the stone.
Which is how you get stuff like Netflix cracking down on password sharing.
Yeah, I just want people to be able to watch things. And people who want to make things can just make things. That would be really cool, wouldn't it?
Maybe you should go to the Soviet Union, nerd. Oh, wait, you can't.
Yeah, sorry. That's also been... That was the original bundle, if you think about it.
If you get a chance, go look up George Lucas talking about the Soviet film industry on YouTube. It's very interesting.
What does he have to say about it?
He talked about how it's more creatively free than Hollywood. Because they don't have to...
Well, that makes a lot of sense to me.
But bundles seem to be the wave of the future along with ad-supported tiers. To date, the only two streaming services that don't have ad tiers are Apple TV Plus and Prime Video. Prime kind of not really needing the tiers on account of it being part of Amazon.
Yeah.
I have a little chart here that I'm looking at, and I'm just going to run through some of these prices real quick because I feel like they're depressing, or at least staggering in the terms of how these go. So the first price is the monthly price with ads for a streaming service, and this is the monthly price, the cheapest version with no ads. So Netflix, the ads version, $7, kind of like the original, what you paid for Netflix. No ads, $15.50. Sorry, $15.49. Don't want to get sued. Hulu, $7.99 ads. $17.99 no ads. $17.99.
Oh my god.
Disney Plus, $8 no ads, or $8 ads. $14.99 or $13.99 no ads. Max, $9.99 with ads. $15.99 no ads. What are we doing here?
This is literally just cable packaging prices at this point.
So if you got all 4 of those, which are the 4 biggest streaming services, not counting Prime, which you would have is an annual thing, I believe. You're looking at like close to, I think it's close to over $50. Yes. So yeah, essentially we've recreated cable. Everybody, you're great. Great to
We
hear.
make cable, but it's just very inconvenient now.
It's
It's
inconvenient
cable,
in a
but
novel way.
we have less channels, but more content. Question mark.
Who fucking knows?
In lighter news, Nickelodeon and the NFL have teamed up to have SpongeBob and his friends commentate the Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Why?
Have you guys not seen those, the Patrick Star VTuber watching football games and commentating on them?
Yeah, that was Stare. I've got news for you. That was from Nickelodeon.
I know. That's what I was saying.
Oh, okay.
Wait, what are you
Yeah,
talking
they had
about?
Patrick Star.
Commentate some NFL games for the kids on Nickelodeon.
Wait, so
I was
is this
going to
going to be
reveal
the
it
actual...
later in this article, but it was a thing on Nickelodeon called,
It was kind of fucked up.
I'm not kidding here, called NFL Slime Time.
It's kind of fucked up because he was using Zoomer jargon. Talking about...
Wait, is this actually going to be the NFL broadcast, or are they going to be
Yes!
simultaneously broadcasting it to the Nickelodeon with the commentary on it?
Well, so here's how NFL Slime Time worked back in the when they were doing that, which is it was a NFL game where they would have sort of some highlights of a Nickelodeon aesthetic. They'd add in like googly eyes on the players. They'd have slime. Patrick Star is commentating, for instance. So now they're just taking it one step further by having them commentate the Super Bowl. So Nickelodeon will be airing the game with the help of SpongeBob and Patrick Star commentating for a younger audience. It remains to be seen whether or not there'll be googly eyes on the players.
I think I'd be furious if I was like a big football guy and I went to go watch the big game and had these cartoon characters on it,
But
like,
what if it was
making a mockery
What
of
if it was Goku?
If I was a big football guy, I don't think I'd care
oh my
about
God.
Goku.
You can make so much money.
Big football guys love anime.
You can make so much money if you got Goku to commentate like soccer matches. Like all...
Kyo, you have to imagine that a lot of big football guys are, at this stage, younger than us.
No.
Considerably.
I think the people who want to watch football just want to watch the football game, and they care about the game, not the cartoon character in front of it.
Oh, you're
But
talking
maybe
about
I'm
fans of football. You're making it sound like a big football player has sat down to watch the big game that he's not playing in.
No, I'm talking about football fans who like really are interested in watching the game of football. That's
I thought you were talking about a legitimately big
A really large man?
football
Like,
guy. And not
large
like
man.
a large
Like
man
Jack
sits
Reacher?
down. like Jack Reacher sits down to watch his favorite game, the Super Bowl,
Oh, Jack Reacher can't sit
on
down.
Nickelodeon.
He's always traveling from place to place. He doesn't have a home.
Well, and here's the thing, Keo. The Super Bowl is still also going to be broadcast on broadcast
Okay, that's what I was
television,
saying.
Like normal.
So they're going to be simultaneously broadcasting the regular football game to the like ESPN or whatever the hell, and then Nickelodeon will be simultaneously broadcasting the football game with Nickelodeon characters over it. Is that what's happening?
Yes, that's right. It's for the children.
I guess apparently this has had some success because they've been doing the Slime Time for multiple seasons.
Yes, that's right. It's been going on since 2021. And SpongeBob, of course, is still wildly popular, so that makes sense.
You couldn't possibly make kid me care about a football game, even if my favorite characters were talking over it.
Yeah, I don't know if it would have helped me care about football as a child. Apparently not. They won't be the only people there. Of course, Sandy Cheeks will also be available doing sideline reporting. And Larry the Lobster is there for some reason.
Yeah, they can't get Clancy Brown. I bet that's a hard voice to like do improv of.
Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, to keep that up.
Yeah, it's probably no good. Also, apparently, Dora the Explorer and her monkey boots will be there. They're going to. This is a direct quote. They will help explain penalty calls to the viewers.
That's good. That's a good bit. I like that.
So that's pretty funny. You know what? I think this year,
you know what?
I'm going to be watching the Nickelodeon version.
We got to give it to the brands.
So yeah, everybody get your nacho cheese and your chips ready to go.
Are these people actually able to do these voices still? It's been like so long. I wonder what they sound like now.
Well, they still do them. I mean, they still make new SpongeBob.
That doesn't mean that they sound good. Have you seen New Simpsons, Swanton? It's horrible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean, I am assuming it's awful, but like,
yes!
Aren't the new Simpsons like their voices are pretty much the same?
No. They all sound like they're old. Marge sound.
I guess SpongeBob hasn't been around quite as long as the Simpsons. What are they? How many years apart?
SpongeBob has been on for like 20 years.
SpongeBob has been on since 1999. I know this because I can still remember
24 years.
The day I first watched it was its broadcast premiere. I recorded on VHS because my parents took me to IKEA, and they had a very bad argument that almost got them divorced.
Wow.
What a rich tapestry Stairmaster's life is.
Yeah, it was fucked up how SpongeBob and Patrick almost died in Sandy's Dome. Because there's no water.
They haven't quite reached Simpsons levels yet, but Tom Kenny and Bill Fagerbaki, I don't know if that's how you say his last name, the guy who does Patrick, are in their 60s.
Yeah, I just wonder how long they can keep up those voices on a live broadcast. That sounds kind of intense, honestly.
Well, Tom Kenny's Kenny's voice is not that. It's not that much of a
different from SpongeBob.
Yeah, I'm curious if it's going to be like just like some pre-recorded stuff that they're doing, or if they're going to just actually be the sportscasters.
Will it be like on a delay then, like they just air it a bit later than the actual Super Bowl, or will it actually be a simultaneous broadcast with live commentary? That's what I want to know.
They're going to pre-stage the Super Bowl with crisis actors.
I think it's supposed to be airing simultaneously. That's what everything that I've read about it says.
So we're gonna get a fictitious Super Bowl.
Yeah, Joe Biden's gonna blow it up so he gets reelected.
How would that help him get reelected?
Because there's been a horrible attack on our nation, and we need to band together and vote for Joe Biden.
Yeah, that will work.
What would they done to SpongeBob?
Hamas had decapitated SpongeBob.
No, you can't do that.
I mean, this actually would. Stairmaster's correct. After 9/11, George Bush's ratings went way higher.
But I feel like there was more of a monoculture that people could rally around. Now everyone's fragmented, like MGS2 said. We're in our little truth bubbles.
But also,
if the Super Bowl actually gets blown up or something, I don't think there's going to... I guess people are crazy enough that they would have their own ideas. Yes. Some people would say that it was fake, like it didn't even happen.
Or we'll just blame it on Biden.
All of the 9/11 conspiracy theories would be 50,000 times worse if the Super Bowl blew up today.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Because you gotta imagine, half of the U.S. population would find a way to be like, Donald Trump wouldn't have let this happen.
Okay, imagine this: the Super Bowl gets exploded, and they have animations of all the SpongeBob characters horribly dying.
And Donald Trump would be on the campaign tour being like, listen, I knew this was going to happen for a long time, folks. I've been raising the alarms. Okay? Been saying there's a big attack coming. Huge attack.
Patrick, Spandy, SpongeBob, Mr. Krabs.
Don't forget their names. Don't forget Mr. Krabs. A lot of people forget Mr. Krabs.
Octoman.
Mr. Krabs, a patriot.
He's one of the main characters of the show, the heart and soul of the series.
Who could forget the tragic Mrs. Puff?
I always liked Thomas It's More, but that's not what it's about today.
But yeah, let's look forward to hopefully a completely explosion-free Super Bowl outside of, I guess, fireworks.
And hopefully there are no breasts either.
If there's any women,
cover yourselves up.
Don't want to see any dancing. I want you. If there's a group of women there to perform, I want them to perform the Pledge of Allegiance and the national anthem,
and that's it.
Fully clothed, and then leave.
There should be like some sort of garb that obscures everything but their eyes.
Oh, yeah.
Did they make that?
No, but they will.
And we should also make them explosion-proof, just in case.
You never know what's going to happen. Anyway,
folks, we got to keep our women safe.
That's it for the news, which means it's time for one final segment, one that people love. It's Trailer Blazers. Hit the theme, Keo. That's right. We're here talking about a trailer for Prime Video's new video game adaptation, Fallout. Yeah, it looks like Fallout. Right?
What part of America does this look like? Is that the Ferris wheel from Los Angeles?
I think it's supposed to take place in LA, yeah.
I used to live there before we came to Denver, Colorado.
And as I've told Keo countless times, if there was a nuclear war, there would not be any landmarks standing.
It's true. I guess this means they just rebuilt the Ferris wheel for some reason.
Yeah. Maybe it was like a religious thing.
Oh, that would be cool, actually. Yeah.
I'm glad they got the robot that cuts your hair.
Yeah, I mean, this, there's only really one part of this trailer that makes me leery.
Oh? Was there a ghost?
The part where they say that it's...
I think you guys know which part of the trailer it is, which is early in the trailer.
When they say it's by the Westworld people?
Yeah. Because really, the trailer itself is... it looks nice. It looks fine. I'll give it a shot. Why not? But being developed by the creators of Westworld, Lisa Joy and Jonathan Nolan, does give me some pause.
Yeah, Westworld did a great job of giving us like a hook for the show that was intriguing, and then just kind of like throwing it right in the trash as soon as you got interested.
Yeah. It's listen, I only watched the first season of that show, so I don't have the full breadth of the Westworld experience, but that was enough for me. It was kind of a funny cultural event though, because like everybody had pretty much figured out what the deal was,
but also people were saying no, that's too stupid. They wouldn't do that.
They were like, no, it's not. It can't be that. It can't be that, and it ended up being that exactly.
And I wonder how they'll do that with Fallout.
Quit watching.
A franchise that doesn't really do plot twists.
Yeah, true. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be like, actually, you've been outside the whole time.
Actually, they're in China.
There doesn't really seem to be a hint of an actual plot in this trailer, though. They're just like, you're out in this wacky world and stuff's happening. How about that?
Well, if you play the games, you see the Enclave shows up, so you assume there's going to be like a conflict with them trying to reestablish the USA, and since it's LA, they're probably going to be making the new California Republic.
You can infer that from having played the games, but the trailer does not make that clear.
Noob. Maybe you should read a fucking book.
We also get a ghoul who is played by Walton Goggins, so that is fun. But my thing was that I don't think any of the Fallout games take place on the West Coast.
No, the 1 and 2 do.
Oh,
yes, they're both about you're wandering around the new California Republic as it's trying to reestablish itself.
So I'm assuming they take place after that, then.
Maybe before. I'm pretty sure you blow up the Enclave at the end of 2. So, since they're in this, at least the West Coast Enclave, there's some losers in a bunker in New Vegas. And 3's got him because Bethesda is full of hacks.
Okay, so the description for the show does say that it takes place more than 200 years after the apocalyptic event.
Let me look at the Fallout timeline.
So I don't know where that that falls.
Let's see. 7500 BCE. Ubar thrives in the Rub Kali region 4,000 years before known human civilization. 166 AD, the Battle of Hastings is fought. 1215, the Magna Carta is signed by King John of England.
I think you need to go a little further along.
I know in Fallout 3 you can get like Abe Lincoln's Gatling gun arm.
When does Fallout 1 take place?
Fallout 1 takes place like... Well, the war happens 2077, I think.
Okay, I'm looking it up. I'm looking at the timeline here. Fallout 1, or Fallout 2 takes place about 164 years after Fallout 1.
Yeah.
Which takes place like... Or, sorry, it takes place at 164 years after the war that destroyed everything. And then Fallout 3 takes place 36 years after the events of that one. So I guess this falls somewhere after Fallout 3.
Which doesn't really matter since it's on the other side of the country.
True, which is probably why they put it there.
Yeah.
Anyway, this looks fun enough. I'm a little like, but it is Prime, and Prime is usually they're pretty consistent with their quality of work.
Their marketing team's getting really cheeky here, though. They're bragging about Amazon doing fast deliveries. And this,
yeah. I think I think it's like an escalation of a joke, right? Because first they say, the creators of Westworld, and you're supposed to be like, ooh, and then they say Todd Howard, and you're supposed to be like, huh? And then they say creators of The Boys and 2-day shipping, and you're supposed to, I guess at that point, realize it's a joke. Which is what I did.
I don't know. It wasn't the creators of The Boys; it was the studio that made The Boys. Be careful, Swanson.
Which is what makes it weirder or funnier, I guess.
Yeah, they take credit for free delivery, same-day delivery as well.
Yeah. But
the studio created this.
I'm sure we're all looking forward to it. Can't wait.
What would you guys do if there was actually a movie or a show called Free 2-Day Delivery?
Nothing.
So you wouldn't scramble to watch this?
I would not. I mean, who's in it?
Swanson's in it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd watch that.
Let's make a movie called Swanson Goes to the Beach.
Okay, I'd watch that.
It's like a Mr. Bean type experience.
Yeah, I get sunburned horribly.
Teddy.
Okay, what if it's Fallout, but it's also Mr. Bean?
I'm pretty sure someone's done that.
You're
All right,
frantically Googling this.
I found it. You'll just have to assume we watched it. We got to keep going.
Yeah. All right. That's Trailer Blazers. And now it's time for our main event. We watched a show, and now we're going to talk about it. Scott Pilgrim Takes Off is an anime adaptation of the popular Scott Pilgrim graphic novel series and film. Set in Toronto, Canada, the series follows Scott Pilgrim, a bassist in an indie band who falls in love with Ramona Flowers, a mysterious delivery girl. His love attracts the attention of Ramona's 7 evil exes. Things take an unexpected turn at the end of the first episode, where it seems as if this adaptation is going in a completely different direction. Did Scott Pilgrim take off, or did it land into a pile of coins?
This show made me take off to the bathroom so I could vomit. Fuck!
That's not nearly vague enough to be AVGN.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you gotta swear more. Anyway, yeah.
First off, we gotta say Scott Pilgrim, the events of the show do take place on stolen land.
True. So I should ask first, how familiar the two of you are with Scott Pilgrim as a franchise.
No, it's all osmosis for me, and absolutely nothing for Keo, apparently.
Which is so wild, since Keo was the deciding factor in watching this show.
I was aware of Scott Pilgrim existing. I knew that Scott Pilgrim had some kind of conflict with some exes. I thought they were his exes, though, so, there's that. And then, what else? Oh, I know there was a Scott Pilgrim video game.
Oh, yes, which is sort of... the Scott Pilgrim video game has definitely influenced part of the style of this anime, along with, of course, the graphic novels.
Is that where people dying and then they become coin came from, or is that from the original product?
It's from the original product. All the exes he defeats get sort of various video game references. One of them, my personal favorite is that one of them explodes into a bunch of animals.
Yeah, wasn't the one of the former names of their band Sonic and Knuckles?
Yeah. And as we see here, he's obviously a fan of Sonic.
Rizga.
He's got that Stairmaster Riz.
Yeah, I mean, he's just like me for real, in only that sense and only that sense alone. But yeah, like all of the other properties, this follows Scott Pilgrim, who is a huge loser, and like all of those other parts of the franchise, it's never clear how much you're supposed to root for Scott Pilgrim, and how much you're supposed to be like, yeah, this guy sucks.
He's just a little guy. Hold on. Yeah, let's discuss this. Is Scott Pilgrim a fuckboy?
Yes.
Yes, let's kill him.
I think part of it is that, Scott Pilgrim was created in like 2004. So the idea of like a 20-something who's just sort of lounging around, living life.
Was Scott Pilgrim created by a child or what?
No, it's created by a man who was probably the same age as Scott Pilgrim when he created the comic.
So basically a child.
Let's see, 2004. Yeah, he was 24 when the first one came out.
Interesting.
Yeah, more about this later.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some more research on this.
But yeah, I think it's pretty clear that the creators have some affinity for Scott Pilgrim, and I think we're supposed to like.
Well, presumably this
Pilgrim.
is like written from a place of experience.
It's a self-insert character.
Wait, so none of us have actually.
I
thought Scott Pilgrim gets dumped at the end, and that's like supposed to be a lesson from that.
Spoilers. No.
Spoiler.
No, he does not get dumped at the end.
Oh, I guess beating up all of your girlfriend's exes does pay off.
Yes, that's the lesson.
Yeah, because they're evil.
Like their relationship she does break up with him at one of the volumes, but they get back together by the end of the series.
Oh.
When he defeats the big bad.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the Mr. Bean videos. Oh no! And now I'm looking at John Wick and Resident Evil 4.
Maybe do that after the record.
Oh my fucking god. Okay.
So yeah, Scott, with that question momentarily, because I feel like we're gonna circle back around to it real quick with this episode. The first episode here, Scott Pilgrim's Precious Little Life. What do we think of this animation style, rather?
It grew on me. This is by Science Saru, who are most famous for doing Ping Pong the animation, which is critically and globally loved.
I think growing it growing is a good way of describing it, because at first I was not feeling the style, and I think you get on its rhythm after a bit.
Yeah.
I think the animation is pretty good here. Some of the visual effects I don't quite understand them, but I think it looks pretty good. Sometimes they do this thing where there's like a camera focus effect where things are out of focus, but it seems to be done kind of at random. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure why that happened. I don't know. There's definitely certain moments in this that seem to certain effects that seem to happen that I wasn't completely understanding here. Although I am curious, Keo, as someone who has no idea what Scott Pilgrim's all about, how the opening to this episode made you feel.
Yeah, I could feel Keo's nausea, like the psychic assault going on from hundreds of miles away.
Hundreds of miles away?
Yeah.
We live together at the TV Tuner's house here in Denver, Colorado.
Yeah, my bad.
Well, he was driving. Stair had to drive 100 miles and come back. He said he was picking up a package.
Stairmaster was literally driving.
True.
So, which opening thing are you talking about? What am I reacting to?
The first episode. This is the first episode.
Like the entire episode?
The beginning, his dream. And then how it gets referenced again. In a way that seems to suggest that perhaps there are powers involved with everything going on.
Yeah, I thought it was I didn't know how much of it to take literally, but I guess after you get to the second episode and they're having magical battles, it's like, oh, okay, I guess it was just some kind of supernatural thing happening here.
Yeah, it's a sort of very blended environment. Anyway, right off the bat, I'm reminded that Scott Pilgrim is dating a 17-year-old.
Which they don't really explain this, and they kind of
they say it there on screen.
No, they don't explain how this happened or why it's a quote-unquote fake relationship either.
Oh, it happened because he's in a band, I'm guessing.
No, okay, how does that...
yeah. I feel like they were counting on you being familiar with the source material.
Oh, I mean, that's pretty much exactly how it happens in the source material, too. You don't really... They explore it more, unfortunately. But, like, it's just like she's someone that he continuously says that he barely dates. Whatever that means. Like, I need a bit more explanation for what you mean by barely dates, Scott Pilgrim.
They're just emotionally intimate.
Some Jerry Seinfeld ass shit.
Yeah,
that
well,
he's doing
we get a
there.
Seinfeld's episode when the band has a show, and both of them show up.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Both of them were invited. They didn't just show up.
It's true, and they don't really get the chance to connect. But we're getting a little ahead of ourselves because first, of course, he has to meet the girl of his manic pixie dreams. The decidedly not manic Ramona Flowers. Yeah, she's cool. That's pretty much her defining characteristic.
We get Scott Pilgrim trying to get it in by dropping Sonic the Hedgehog factoids.
Yeah, he's me. In only this case.
I just want to say the lady who owns the house that the party is at is cute. The glasses lady.
Yes, played by, or voiced by Aubrey Plaza. Yeah, she hates Scott Pilgrim, and so do I. We have that in common. Scott and Ramona. So Scott orders a DVD from Netflix, which Ramona's job is a delivery, specifically a Netflix delivery lady, and she delivers it, and he asks her out, and they decide to go out. And I don't know. Was anybody were we feeling the love affair between the two of them?
No.
Looks.
I really want to know what's going on in her head where she's going along with this.
Look, most of the time, women just want a little goblin who can bring them treasures and potions. And Scott kind of fits that bill pretty well, I think.
No, he can't bring anything.
It's true. He has no job. He's in a band that is he describes himself as terrible.
But he is a little goblin.
Yeah,
that's like at least half of it.
It's true. Yeah. Also,
now remember, this girl does have 7 evil exes.
Yeah. You also got to keep in mind these are early 20-year-olds, so they're going to be doing the stupidest possible shit you could think of in terms of
I guess she wouldn't have all those evil exes if she was good at deciding relationships.
Yeah, true. Although, with the first evil ex, as we learn, maybe some of them don't really have a good grasp on what counts as a relationship either. But yeah, we learn that there's like a whole league of evil exes led by this guy, Gideon, who is, I guess, the main guy who put them all together. He's
got some kind of like extremely powerful surveillance network going on.
Yeah, he owns like a bunch of media, as he reveals next episode, including 14 animal shelters. Anyway, yeah, Scott, there's like a snowstorm, and Scott Pilgrim gets stuck at her house, and they sleep in the same bed.
They get the second base.
Yeah, I guess.
Do we know what the base system is? Do any of us?
I thought, isn't the first base kissing?
I think that's universally agreed upon, but like, is third base
So then
sex?
second base would be touching shit.
Then what's third base?
Third base is getting pounded hard.
But that's
the home run.
So what is third base then?
Sucking shit. I don't know.
But that implies that there's like an order that you have to suck before you fuck. When often, plenty of people will suck after they fuck.
Wait, so they call it home base to get pounded?
Well,
home run?
Yeah, because you've scored.
So home run means like you've made it like all the way around and you rush through the other parts.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
guess.
asking. Does anybody know? I feel like we're all everyone on this world is cargo culting their way, and nobody actually knows what the bases are.
The only base that has a consensus, from what I'm gathering, is first base.
Yeah.
I think that's the only base.
Yeah, I think that's the only one that... Who's on first base? It's two people, and they're kissing.
All right,
they could have had sex, but Scott wouldn't shut up. Which is true to many people's lives.
All right, so according to WikiHow...
I do not trust WikiHow for anything sex-related.
I don't trust them for anything.
So third base is touching or orally stimulating below the waist, and then home base is where you started at, is having sex, which is
so finger blasting.
But oral stimulation is sex.
No,
that's mouth sex.
No, not according to WikiHow, which has pictures. Do you have pictures?
Yeah,
they have pictures of this. Just in case you were wondering what cunnilingus is.
Here's a picture of two people having sex.
Oh, I got those too. Would you like to see? Hey, kid, I got some photos. What do you like?
Those are people, all right. How would you describe the face they're making?
Oh,
Keo?
That is so us, Keo.
Keo, you know what? Go ahead and describe the whole photo while we're at it.
All right, so...
Oh my god, it looks like the Yaraniki Yowie.
It does. It does. So...
Or the I'm the sexiest Tin Shinhan for those less cultured.
We've got this beautiful artwork here with some fine line art. So there's a drawing of a woman, and she's on top of the man. I think that's what's happening here. And they both look like they're just like exhausted, and their eyes are closed and their mouths are gaping, and they look like they are just like ready to go to bed, like they're yawning.
Yeah, I feel like this is perhaps the moment right after they've climaxed.
Simultaneously, of course.
Of course. Well, that's how you know it's... Yeah.
Life has left the both of them.
Yes, drained in every possible way.
So I guess they got to second base? Second base?
We don't really know. We may never know.
So yeah, they sleep, and Scott wakes up and he's like, "Hey, why don't you come to my show tonight?" And she's like, "Yeah, I don't have anything better to do with my life."
Well, she does kick him out because she has to go to work.
Yes, something that he does not do.
He doesn't contribute to society in any meaningful way.
Correct.
Which is probably why his girlfriend is a 17-year-old.
Yeah, true. She also seems to really like the band, and I think that's probably an extension of him being in it.
Pronouns.
Oh yeah, his girlfriend, quote unquote.
We don't know her name.
Knives Chow is her name.
Oh, Knives is such a cool name. I would never cheat on anyone named Knives.
Could you imagine dating someone named Knives?
No, that's I can't imagine it. That's too powerful.
And as we learn later, Scott has also dated a woman named Envy. So yeah.
Is that her actual name, or is it a stage name?
It's a stage name, unfortunately. Also, in terms of people that Scott has dated, the drummer in the band is another person that Scott's dated. I don't know if that came up or not.
I don't think so.
But yeah, another ex of Scott's. Anyway, yeah, so they go to the concert happens. There's almost a moment where the two of them, Ramona and Knives, find out that they're both interested in Scott, or seeing him, I guess. And then this guy shows up, Matthew Patel, who is the lowest ranking member in the League of Exes, and he just kills Scott.
That's what we call
allegedly.
subverting Keo. He became a pile of coins. He's dead.
He's totally dead.
And that's what the janitor said.
Yeah.
The janitor.
I just love how this show does not have any interest in explaining how its world works to me.
I like
I'm
how
just
no one
supposed
was
to-
mad at that guy for murdering Scott.
They were all just shocked.
Or
Like
crashing the show.
he got to like everyone just left and let him
Yeah,
succeed at murdering a man.
Yeah. He crashed the show and killed a man, and he just gets to walk.
Yeah.
I guess.
He's not even reviled for it.
Yeah, he doesn't get to date Ramona, which is, I guess, what the League rules say, as if she follows their rules. But yeah, the janitor in the second episode with my favorite line, the only time I actually did, I think, laugh out loud.
Bro, that got a guffaw out of me.
Yeah, where he says the bassist got punched to death. Just so matter-of-factly. And then I think Knives was the one he was talking to, right? And she's like, what? And he's like I said, the bassist got punched to death.
Yeah, nothing about this makes any sense.
The second episode is a little slower for my taste. There's a fun fight sequence, and that's about it for the second episode.
But it's like, this is something that you won't appreciate unless you're already in with the Scott Pilgrim lore, I think, because it's a major deviation from the canon.
Yeah, that's true. Keo, you might not be aware of this, but Scott Pilgrim, in fact, in the both the graphic novel and the movie, defeats Matthew Patel quite easily, and goes on to fight other ex-boyfriends. Well, exes, we'll say.
Yeah, that was what they were setting up clearly, where they said that each ex was stronger than the last.
Right.
Yeah.
And
instead he just gets beaten. He just dies, which is a subversion.
yeah, it's a subversion.
That I think is a bit
One
lost on you, maybe.
It wasn't lost on me. I had a feeling that something was different about this story from what I was expecting to watch, but at the same time, I know he's not dead.
Yeah. I do love the funeral scene where everyone is not exactly the saddest that Scott Pilgrim is dead. Like, his bandmate is just like, oh yeah, you're the guy that he got murdered over, right? You're the lady that he got murdered over? Oh, nice to meet you.
And then Knives starts screaming at her.
Yeah.
Which I hope that women are fighting at my funeral.
I hope the two...
They're kind of acting like he's not really dead, honestly, at this funeral.
Yeah.
I think they just didn't really care for him that much.
I think it's just very nonchalant. I think the comedy is supposed to be in them being nonplussed that their friend is dead.
It's not funny.
This is what it's like to be in your early 20s.
Yeah, nothing matters.
Like, if I had died 10 years ago, you guys would have been like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
I would have been devastated.
True. Yeah, I mean, now if Stairmaster died, I would be devastated because I'd be like, yeah, now we got to get a new host, new co-host. I don't know that many people anymore.
Or you're just more flexible at age 22.
Yeah,
Emotionally and physically.
If I needed someone to fill Stair's hosting duties 10 years ago, oh, easy.
If the heat came through the door, Swanson would drop me in 60 seconds flat back then.
Yeah. Now we're ride or die. Literally. Anyway, so Matthew Patel returns to the League and organizes a meeting where he's like, listen, I should be the leader now or something.
Because the system sucks.
Yeah.
Because we don't actually get the girlfriend if we kill the boyfriend.
And they get into a fight.
There's a back and forth.
Yeah. By the way, Chris Evans and former Superman Brandon Routh are back reprising their roles from the movies as well.
Wait, oh.
Yeah, the guy in
the
guy with
times.
the vegan powers is Brandon Routh, and the actor is Chris Evans. The guy and the actor guy who keeps talking about the rules that he doesn't even watch his own movies or whatever. Anyway, they have a fight scene, and it's this is fun. As you might expect, Kyo, this also does not happen. Pretty much all of this second episode does not happen.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun fight sequence. I like how he has those. I don't know what they even are. Those he's got women who are like ghosts or something.
Yeah,
he has like stands or something.
He summons like ghost cheerleader or not cheerleader, ghost like ladies.
They are kind of like demon cheerleaders.
Yeah, I believe in the graphic novel they're referred to as hipsters. But that might be
that was such a 2010 thing.
Yeah. I don't recall exactly. But yeah, he
and we're just meant to accept that this is happening. This is just the world that we're witnessing. They can just do this type of thing, I guess.
It's just Scott Pilgrim, man. It's just what happens. No questions. Yeah, and he wins decidedly. And
that's crazy. I can't imagine this happening. In the original, he was nobody. He defeated. Now he's the big boss.
In the original, he becomes a pile of coins. Yeah, he. I did like the lawyer coming in while Gideon is one armed hanging off the skyscraper and having to sign away his control of everything.
That's rude.
And that's kind of...
I felt bad.
Yeah. That's kind of where we... the main action of this second episode. And then...
Which, again, only works from a narrative economy standpoint if you're already familiar with the setting.
Yeah. And yeah, then Ramona goes home. She goes to sleep, and she hears Scott while she's in her little subspace highway dealy. And that's it. She realizes he might be alive after all.
Oh, did we talk about the montage we get at the start of the episode of her doing her hair?
Oh, yeah.
God, that's a lot of work. Women are braver than any U.S. soldier.
Very true.
To do that every day.
What if I told you that guys could also do that to their hair? If they wanted to. Literally anybody could do it. It's not...
who cares? Who cares?
Literally anybody can do it if you want. You don't have to be a woman to have cool hair.
Not interested.
Literally, dude. Anybody can look like that.
Not I.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it right now.
All right, we'll get back to Swanson 30 minutes from now when he's done.
Yeah.
The official Scott Pilgrim wiki says that they are a group of female demons in hipster form. They are either demons that work for Matthew Patel or are illusions created by his powers. So the jury's out on exactly the nature of these creatures.
They might as well have not said anything since they didn't.
Yeah. I
don't know more than I knew before.
I think we can assume that they are some sort of version of his powers since he projects them with his powers.
Or we summon them and they're actually dead.
Well, maybe. Either way, they're dead now. Well, I guess they can come back. I don't know. We'll have to find out.
We'll see what happens. Better come back. Swanson.
What are you going to do if they don't come back?
I hate it when women die.
Yes.
Stairs always saying this. So that's pretty much it for these 2 episodes here. What do we think here?
Well, I don't want to watch anymore, but I don't want to tune out. But I'm gonna have to tune out since I don't want to watch anymore. Or maybe.
Yeah, I'm of two minds on it. In the sense that I'm familiar with the Scott Pilgrim lore, but I've also avoided it ever since I've read the final graphic novel in like 2013, 2014. I was not exactly looking forward to more of it, and this didn't really compel me to want to It's fine. I like the animation. I think they're doing a lot of fun stuff.
We're not about that life. Unfortunately.
Right. And it's going in a different direction. Like, if this is more of a Ramona-focused show, it seem more interesting. But it is still, at the end of the day, about Scott Pilgrim. And I just don't think I care that much about him.
Yeah, I couldn't care less about a protagonist.
I think I'm going to have to give this a light tune-out. If you're a fan, you'll probably love it.
And and you can email us to tell us we're full of shit. You can call us slurs. I'll read it.
Yeah. Listen, this
no matter what you choose.
This won't even be the most unliked thing that we've tuned out on, or the most liked thing we've tuned out on.
Yeah, people are still giving us shit for Harley Quinn.
Yeah. Very true.
That's a tune-out for me, by the way.
Yeah, I think I'm going to give it.
Yeah, okay, sure. Fine, yeah.
This is the craziest unanimous tune-out, because the animation is actually good, but the source material here, very thin. Very thin material.
Yeah, it's not that thin. It's a cartoon about a guy who beats up other guys.
That's really thin.
But it's also not a cartoon about a guy who beats up other guys, because the guy gets beat up and dies.
Yeah. Well, a guy beats up a guy in the second episode.
It's true. It's two different guys than you would expect.
World of Guys.
That should have been the name of
like,
it. Scott Pilgrim's World of Guys.
Just like, when you're trying to get people invested in your story, it's just very odd choice to have a protagonist that sucks, and also villains who are, I guess they're evil. They're obsessed with their ex, I guess.
Because this makes more sense as like a sequel that goes down a different timeline.
Yes, yeah.
Sort of like a Fate Stay Night, Fate Unlimited Blade Work situation.
Sure.
Where things go wildly off the rails on day 3.
Yeah, it's like that. Let's say it's like that, and comment no further on what that might mean. Anyway.
We still have that Buy Me a Coffee that guy said we could go back on.
What was it again?
Yeah, we were supposed to watch Fate Stay Night. I think he bought 2 copies.
Yeah, let's do that.
And then I can go
next week.
Yeah.
Well, this is
Let's watch Legend of Galactic Heroes.
No. We've got bigger things to talk about next week. Bigger.
A bigger guy?
Maybe. But for now, that's a tune out on Scott Pilgrim Takes Off. It looks like we're taking off of the podcast for this week.
Ass!
That's about it for this week's episode of the show. As for next week, yeah, there's a big guy coming to town. Perhaps the biggest you've ever seen. Could you imagine? That's right. We're watching the new season of Jack Reacher. So until next week, when a big guy starts doing big guy stuff, keep watching. Bye. It's over.
Hey, folks.
Hey, buddy, hold on. Slow your roll.
Time for the TV Tuners Denver Fact of the Week. Did you know that one of the evil exes from the Scott Pilgrim series is based off of Stairmaster?
It's the one wearing the mask.